Hello everybody. Today we're going to start with one of my favorite test-taking strategies for your North Carolina final exam review. If I taught you in ninth grade, then you've already heard me talk about this, but I want to review it because it may have been a couple of years since then. The strategy is called runners. R-U-N-N-E-R-S. Each letter of this acronym runners stands for something that you can do to help make sure that you are answering the test questions correctly and getting the highest possible exam score. To start with, R. When you open up your screen or you open up your paper and pencil test and you have the booklet in front of you, turn to the first passage and I want you to start by reading two specific things. The first thing is the title. Read the title. Stop and think about it for a minute. Predict what you think the passage is going to be about. Call to mind any prior knowledge or associations you have of something with the title. Imagine for a minute what you're going to read and what kind of questions that the test writers could be asking you. Part 2. Pass by the actual passage and open up the questions that you will have. The multiple choice, or if you're in the 11th grade, the constructed response questions that you could get on the passage. Read through each of those questions so you have in your mind what the test is going to be asking you, and so that you have a purpose for reading. Now, some of the passages that you read may be interesting books or nonfiction articles or poems that you may want to read again. Probably 9 times out of 10, they're not. So you want to know what is the point. And the point, of course, is getting the highest score you can on this test. So you need to know what things you need to focus on when you actually go to read the passage. All right, so again, R, read the title, read the questions. Next letter of runners is U. The U stands for underlining the key words for each question. If you're taking a paper pencil test, you can have a highlighter. So instead of underlining with your pencil, you might choose to highlight those keywords. If you're taking it online, you could use the highlight feature, or you can always use the blank paper that you're given to write down like number 1 and then the keywords, number 2 keywords, number 3 keywords, so on and so forth. All right, whether you're highlighting, underlining, or writing, the important part is don't write down or underline or highlight everything. Again, if you can sum it up in one word that you're looking for, great. If you need 2 or 3 words, fine. But the most important words, what the meat of it is that the test writer is asking you to do. Next letter, N. This N stands for number the paragraphs. Now notice here, if you need to. Runners is a test-taking strategy that works on any standardized test that you're going to take. And some tests look different than others. So the parentheses in this part of if you need to are important. On the release test that you have in front of you for the North Carolina final exam, any paragraphs that they mention in questions, they put a number and then they circle it to indicate that is the particular paragraph that they're referencing. So you can skip this one if you need to, or if you want to. You don't need a number anything. Just know to be aware that when you read those particular paragraphs with the number circled, that there's going to be some sort of question involving specific words or lines from that paragraph. Next N, now. But the important part is read. Notice I put it in all caps. Read the entire passage. The questions that you're asked on this North Carolina final exam will necessitate you reading the whole thing, because it's going to ask you things about the whole passage or things about specific parts that won't make sense if you haven't read the whole thing. Now, also the North Carolina final exam is tricky because they take a bigger story and a lot of times divide it into 2 parts, Part A and Part B. So honest to goodness, if you don't read Part A, when you get to Part B, you're not going to be as prepared as the person who has read Part A. All right, so make sure that you do read the entire passage. Now, while you're reading, I want you to do the E of runners, which is to enclose in parentheses, officially, or highlight, or make notes on your blank paper, or if you're a drawer, an artist, please draw little pictures or little symbols that will help keep in your mind what you're reading and will also give you a little, hey, I remember that from the question. This part is going to be important when I go to answer the questions. Just anything. Just keep your mind occupied. Talk to the text. Again, enclose in parentheses or highlight or make notes or draw or whatever other kind of thing you want to do. Just as long as you are keeping track of the important words or lines from the text that will help you answer the questions or help you remember what you're reading. R. Reread the questions and think about how what you read answers them. You may find it necessary to reread parts of the passage. I have to do this when I answer them as well. So don't worry about time here. Worry about getting the right answers to these questions. Which takes us to S. Select the best answer. Notice I put best because sometimes two answer choices are awfully good looking, but choose which one you think is the best answer, which one the test writers chose. Also make sure that you're marking out answers that you know are wrong in case you do have to guess. Right now you're going to have 4 choices, but it's best if you can narrow them down so that you're guessing from 3, or better yet, if you have to guess, guessing from 2 that you feel are good. All right, so at a glance, runners. Read the title and the questions. Underline or highlight the keywords in the title and the questions. Number the paragraphs if necessary. Now read the passage. Enclose in parentheses or highlight important words in the passage. Reread the questions and select the best answers. Good luck!